All right, boys, today we're going to be talking about the brand new solo raid event, which is going to be the Batman Who Laughs solo raid event. Now, this solo raid event hasn't come out just yet. However, we did get a bunch of data mined information about the solo raid event, and especially about the bosses. And bro, I have some really good news. You are going to see what I'm talking about in just a minute, because these bosses look pretty damn good. This actually kind of feels like the Last Contract 2.0, because everybody loved the Last Contract. And I'm pretty sure everybody is going to love this brand new solo raid event, because there's not that many annoying things and a lot of bosses in this event. There are some bosses that are going to suck, but overall, it's looking pretty damn good. Now, with that being said, let's read what the bosses are going to do in this solo raid event. So first of all, talking about Tier 1. The first boss is going to be Sub-Boss Justice League Aquaman. Justice League Batman, and all he does is disable Special 1. That's all he does. Perfect. All right, next boss is going to be Sub-Boss Justice League Cyborg. All he does is increase power generation. Perfect. That's fine. So far, so good. Next boss is going to be Sub-Boss Energized Starfire. She adds dot at the end of her special abilities, and she has increased dot damage. Perfect. That's absolutely fine. No big deal. I guess for some newer players that would be kind of annoying, but overall that's okay. Next boss is going to be Sub-Boss Armored Superman. He has additional hazard effects, increased lethal attack chance, and removes Special 1. I guess the hazard effects could be a little bit annoying, but it's no big deal. It's not going to ruin the match or anything like that, so we're fine. So far, every single boss is pretty good. Now, the next boss is going to be Boss Robin. It says chance to retain combo whenever he gets hit, and increase critical attack chance. Perfect. Okay, so far, Tier 1 is looking really good and really easy, and especially very free-to-play friendly. All right, now with that being said, now let's move on to Tier 2. Tier 2 says Sub-Boss Atlantean Armored Aquaman has power drain at the end of a special ability, chance to retain combo whenever he gets hit, and increased power generation. Okay, so far so good. Next boss is going to be Sub-Boss Black Adam. Increased damage, adds dot at the end of his special abilities, and he has increased damage to might and tech opponents. Okay, so far so good. Nothing too big of a deal. Next character is going to be Sub-Boss Black Canary. Increased damage and increased lethal attack chance. Perfect, that's fine. Next one is going to be Sub-Boss Multiverse Black Lightning. Additional block effectiveness, increased dot resistance, increased tag in cooldown. Okay, increased tag and cooldown does kind of suck. I think Sub-Zero in the Last Contract has the same buff. And it sucks, but it's not something that's going to ruin your match or anything like that. The one thing that might ruin your match, though, is that Multiverse Black Lightning Special 2 is very annoying. Like, very annoying. He pretty much traps your character in like an electric shield, and you can't really get out. So you can't move, is what happens. You get trapped inside of that little barrier, and you can't move. So that's going to be really annoying, but I don't know. Maybe if he's not stun immune, so you could just stun the character and kill him that way. So it's not that big of a deal, but he seems to be the most annoying boss so far. Next boss is going to be Boss Shazam. Armor pierce immunity, increased defense, power drain immunity, and disables healing. Okay, so far this boss is definitely the most annoying one because of the increased defense and armor pierce immunity. That means there's not going to really be a way to go around it unless you use dot damage, which, I mean, unless you have the Beta Club, is not going to help you out that much. Like, it does, but also not that much. But he's not stun immune either, so you could definitely use Heartbreaker, Harley Quinn, and EPI, and you're still going to be able to use any characters that you normally use, so this should be fine. Oh, on top of that, you can also use Classic Superman now to take away his defense, to take away huge percentages of his defense. So if you can't do armor pierce, take away his defense. That pretty much does exactly the same thing. So overall, this boss is the most annoying one, but there's definitely a lot of ways to get around trying to kill this character. So far so good. Tier 2 looks okay. Next one is going to be Tier 3. Sub-Boss Ace Green Arrow. Increase damage and disable specials. Okay, that's fine. Sub-Boss Wonder Woman. Power drain at the end of specials. Increase damage based on the number of power bars. Increase power generation. And remove specials. I don't know which special ability this is going to remove. We'll just have to see. But overall, she's definitely not worse than Shazam. So she's okay. She's an okay boss. The one thing I do wonder, though, is that because this character is a Wonder Woman character, does she have a reflective shield? If she does, that's going to suck. But you can use the Kryptonite Spear to get over that. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it does suck. Moving on, Sub-Boss Justice League Superman. He has Armor Pierce immunity, dot immunity, increased defense, remove specials. Okay, that's, damn. They're starting to give more of these characters more buffs. Like, tier 1, there was only like 1 buff per boss, and now they're giving them like 4 or 3, which is insane. Again, this one is not that big of a deal. You're definitely going to be able to get over it by using a lot of different characters. The main problem here might be the reflective shield, because this is going to be a Superman character. Anyways, next character is going to be Sub-Boss Justice League The Flash. Automatically crit on a stunned opponent, add dot to stunned opponent, increased fast attack chance. That's no big deal at all. If you don't want to get stunned, just block. It's that simple. Next boss, this is the actual boss of tier 3, is Boss Multiverse Supergirl. Increase block effectiveness, damage cap, disable attack immunity, increased starting power. You know, the damage cap seems like a big deal, but if you have Deathstroke, you can kind of get over that pretty easily, because he doesn't really hit the damage cap that much, because his special abilities are like he has to do a lot of special abilities, but he takes away percentages in every single one. So that's a really good way to get over the damage cap. Increased block effectiveness is kind of going to suck. Disable attack immunity is no big deal. Increased power bar is no big deal. So this boss looks okay. Definitely not worse than Shazam. Shazam so far is probably the most annoying boss, but even then, he's definitely defeatable pretty easily. Next is going to be tier 4. Sub-Boss Arkham Knight Batman. Automatically crit on stunned opponents, stun opponents on tag-in, splash damage. Okay, stun on tag-in is going to suck. However, this guy is not stun immune, so you could definitely use Heartbreaker Harley Quinn. And the thing about Heartbreaker Harley Quinn is she decreases your chances of getting stunned, no matter what. If you're going to tag in or if you're going to get targeted by stun, she has a good chance of just completely ignoring that. So that's going to be one of the ways to get over Arkham Knight Batman. Or I guess you could just use King of Atlantis Aquaman, because you can combo interrupt Batman. I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can defeat this boss. So definitely not the most annoying one. Next one is going to be Sub-Boss Unbreakable Cyborg. Additional hazard effects, power drain immunity, increase starting power. That's really not that big of a deal. That's fine. Next one is going to be Sub-Boss Soul Stealer Dr. Fate. Additional hazard effects, disable special 1, increase tag in cooldown. Like I said, the increased tag in cooldown doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is actually very annoying. But it's not that big of a deal in the sense that this character is going to disable a special 1, and he has hazard effects. So that's okay. Definitely a defeatable boss. Next boss is going to be Powered Supergirl. Increase critical attack chance, increase damage after a special, increase lethal attack resistance. Okay, that's not a big deal at all. Next boss is going to be the boss for tier 4 called Boss Blue Beetle. Increase damage, damage cap, increase lethal attack chance, and increase lethal attack damage. Okay, that's definitely defeatable. As long as the bosses are not stun resistant, that's kind of a big deal. If they're not stun resistant or crit immune, cool. We are absolutely fine. Boss is going to be super easy to defeat, and this boss is going to be easy to defeat. The damage cap is kind of going to suck, because for those of you that use King of Atlantis Aquaman, you're probably not going to be able to do as much damage, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Anyways, tier 5. Moving on to the final tier. So far, we have 4 out of 4 good ratings, okay? All we got to do is get a good rating in tier 5. And I'm not going to lie, tier 5 did not disappoint. So, long story short, this is going to be a 5 out of 5 stars solo raid. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Tier 5, Sub-Boss Atrocitus. Increased damage after a special, power drain after a tag-in, and random tag-in. Okay, that's not a big deal at all. I guess random tag-in. Random tag-in. I'm sorry, I completely read that wrong. Random tag-in is going to be annoying. Yeah, that's going to be really, really annoying. But, I mean, it's definitely defeatable. Next one is going to be Sub-Boss Bane. Increased damage based on power bars, increased power generation. That's super, super easy. That's not a big deal. Sub-Boss Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. Increased defense and dot immunity. Okay, fine. I mean, I guess you're not going to be able to use Beta Club here, but she does have increased defense. You can take that away with classic Superman. You can use LexCorp. You can use Armor Pierce special abilities. There's going to be a lot of ways to get over this character. Next boss is going to be sub-boss Entangling Poison Ivy. Increased attack, increased damage to stunned opponents, stun and freeze immunity. I believe this boss and the next boss that we're going to talk about, which is Boss Batman Who Laughs, are the only bosses that are stun immune. And thankfully, they do not have crit immunity. So, fat W. I completely understand if they want to make this boss a little bit harder because it's going to be the last sub-boss. And then obviously Batman Who Laughs is the boss of the solo raid. So if they want to make those characters a little bit harder to defeat, that's okay. But I'm just really happy they didn't take away crit immunity. So that's 2 big thumbs up from me. Anyways, moving on to the final boss, Boss Batman Who Laughs. Increased damage, damage cap, stun and freeze immunity, and class change. Class change works 2 different ways. There can be class change where whenever the class changes for the character, it interrupts anything that you're doing, or some of them just kind of happen in the background. Like the class changes just happen in the background and the battle keeps going. That seems to be the way that everything is happening right now with class changes, because there has been like 3 different characters with class changes where it works in the way that it doesn't interrupt whatever you're doing, which is a fat W, because class changes that interrupt you suck. That is very annoying. It's not going to ruin the match, but it definitely makes it super annoying. And the damage cap is going to kind of suck. But again, if you have Deathstroke, if you have King Valentis Aquaman, you're still going to be able to do a good amount of damage. And you can still use other good characters like Banshee, Batman Ninja Catwoman, Black Manta, stuff like that. He's got increased damage and stun and freeze immunity. So far, the only team that doesn't look plausible against this guy would be the Heartbreaker Harley Quinn team, because you have to stun. However, you could still use Last Laugh Joker with Raven and EPI. It's not going to do as much damage, but you could still do a lot of damage with that team. So, dude, I am lost for words. This is a really, really good solo raid. Like really good. Again, this is basically the last contract 2.0, because a lot of these bosses are super, super free-to-play friendly. You don't have to be sweating your balls off every single time you fight these bosses or anything. You don't have to have every character in the game to be able to defeat, this solo raid or anything like that. It's really good. It's really balanced. Or I guess it's not balanced. It's just really, really easy, which I know is what most players want, because nobody wants to sweat their balls off like they do against the Rise of Krypton bosses. Those bosses just completely suck. Some people like them because they're hard, and that kind of makes them feel special or something because they can defeat those bosses. I don't get that feeling. I do not get that feeling. An annoying boss is going to be annoying no matter what. I prefer these type of solo raids. So 5 out of 5 stars for the brand new Batman Who Laughs solo raids. I am very, very excited about this, bro. I really, really am. With that being said, let me know what you think about the brand new solo raid. I know you're going to like it because everybody liked the last contract. And with that being said, hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe and stay clean, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching.